Hey, baby, this is Big Boy Patty, and you're watching CP Podcast and the best around. Make sure that you subscribe, follow, and tune in for the best conversations in the business.
What is happening, friends of CCP Podcasting? Welcome to an early edition of Beyond the Bell Live. I am Chris Page. I am so happy to see so many of you joining us first thing this morning. Shout out UK Paul. I see you, brother. I hope you're doing well. 40 cannot be looking any better than you this morning. We got Goth over in the Netherlands. Welcome to the show, bud. Glad to see you. If you're checking us out live here, you're catching us on replay on YouTube, welcome. If it's your first time being here, welcome to the family. We're glad to have you. This is going to be a fantastic show. Before we get too deep into the party, got some announcements to make, ladies and gentlemen. CCP Podcasting is taking things to the next level. November 22nd, 2025, here 3 months from today, we'll be having our very first hosting and producing and putting up all the funds and the money to make it happen. We're throwing our first wrestling event in Orlando, Florida. Chapter 1 Genesis tickets go on sale today. I will have links out later on. It should be a fantastic ride. We're looking forward to seeing so many of you in Orlando live and in living color on the 22nd of November. It's going to be a fun time. Lots of really good things happening. Today here in the States. Tonight over in Malaysia, our guest today recently captured the Journey for the Gold Championship briefcase. We came across him in Malaysia Pro Wrestling and stumbled into that through Iman, who is just a fucking fantastic treat to talk to and to sit down and watch. I hit him up and I was like, man, I need to get somebody else from Malaysia in on the show. We need to talk. We need to get some folks out here. And here we are. Our man today, he is the Journey to the Gold briefcase holder, the one and the only, Mr. Kaizul. Welcome to the show. How are you, sir?
Hello, Chris. Thank you for having me. Happy to be on the show.
I'm glad you're here, man. It's a fun ride of independent wrestling. I do apologize in advance, guys. My dogs are they're all over the place, so if they're barking, and I apologize. We're not usually here at 8 o'clock in the morning, but here we are. I love the fact that we're able to make this happen, that Iman connected us here, because our platform is all about learning about what you have going on, what's happening in Malaysia, how you get started, and what's happening, because wrestling is on fire everywhere. Where I start our conversations are, first of all, how the hell are you? You doing okay this evening for you? It's 8 o'clock over there in the evening.
It's 8 at night. I'm doing okay. I'm feeling great. I just had some food. Just got back from work yesterday. Got the whole day off today to, sort of like rest and get my head in the game for today. So yeah, I'm feeling good. Feeling great.
Well, man, let's jump in and get started. I kick these bad boys off kind of from the top. And when I say from the top, I don't talk about when you got into wrestling. I kind of want to know, where does professional wrestling intersect with you? Where do you fall in love with it? Where do you and professional wrestling meet?
Well, I mean, like when I grew up as a kid, I was always kind of wimpy. I was always bullied in school. I was one of those kids, kind of like an outsider, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then one day I sort of like stumbled onto pro wrestling by accident when I snuck out of my room and saw my dad watching Raw in the living room. Then sort of like got like a glimpse of that, sort of like a superhero-esque vibe of these wrestlers coming out, this music, doing all these moves, and it sort of like caught me. And then after that, I just started watching it. And then obviously as a kid, when you saw pro wrestling for the first time, you wanted to try it, you want to do it, but pro wrestling didn't exist in Malaysia, especially at the time. I think that was like in early 2000s when I was like 7 or 8 years old. So yeah, so instead of doing that, I just did martial arts, but it was never the same. It's not like, what you saw on TV. So yeah, but that was definitely the point of kind of like finding love. Like, it was love in first sight when I first saw it. And then ever since then, I just kept asking my dad if we can just keep watching wrestling with him, and he was gracious enough to invite me over. So that's when I first caught pro wrestling and just caught my eye, you know.
My man Kaizul says, you know what? I'm gonna bypass wrestling and I'm just gonna start doing martial arts because I'm gonna fuck somebody's world up one way or the other, whether it's in the ring or whether it's on the mat. I'm coming for a fight. I love that. So, Malaysia is a very interesting place when it comes to professional wrestling. You just kind of touched on it, right? Like in the early 2000s, there wasn't a whole lot of anything going on in the scene. And my knowledge is limited. I'm not going to sit here and pretend to say that I know it all. I've only seen a handful of shows from Malaysia Pro. I've seen, some matches off of their YouTube platform. When what's the growth like there, and how does this movement start? And from it to go from nothing, and we're only talking 20 years. This isn't a long run by any means. You're still kind of in the infancy, if you will. What does that look like from your perspective when you start seeing professional wrestling grow a little bit, or how does it get off the ground? Maybe that's the better question.
It's weird because I didn't join MYPW up until COVID.
Mm-hmm.
I had known about MYPW for a while, through social media and all that, but I didn't really think that, it was like a serious company. But, I've always just brushed it off, and I was one of those guys that only watched certain products like the WWE and,
mm-hmm.
TNA and all that. So, when I finally joined in, I find that like it's been around for a good long while after I joined in during COVID. But what made it special was that when I signed with MYPW during COVID, it was basically like a reset of the company.
Mm-hmm.
It's like most of the guys in the roster that were there had already like left, and they were starting back from zero. So not only do I get to understand sort of like the history of it, but I was one of the people that jump-started MYPW back. Because COVID was tough on everybody, right?
Sure.
It was dark times when
a lot of companies didn't make it.
Yeah, a lot of companies didn't make it. And MYPW was like one of those companies that were on the brink, but Eman, the talented young man that he is, he kept it going, and instead of like sitting around and not doing anything, he decided to like, okay, we're gonna stay at home and let's try to find new talent out there. Maybe we can build a roster from scratch. We don't have a lot of our own guys, so let's make a new roster. So that's where guys like myself, guys like Jack Alexander, if you see the guy with the sauce, guys like Thommy, who I fought in the tournament. So
what a match!
All these.
Sorry,
thank you very much.
on you, but that was such a fantastic final. But we'll get there. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much. So me and those guys were like kind of like the first people that came through the doors after MYPW said we need more guys. So that's where we came in, and I kind of like saw the growth of the company from zero after COVID, like restarting a company from scratch, and I kind of like saw how the business was and kind of like how Eman's thought process and training us and preparing us to not only be good in the ring, but good in the camera, because, you could be good in the ring, but you also have to have that sort of flair for the show business aspect of pro wrestling that a lot of people don't really get. So, yeah, so the growth of it, I was there at the restructuring, and I'm still in MYPW now, and I'm so thankful to be there. And now, knowing MYPW, seeing Southeast Asia's growth as well, companies in Singapore, Thailand, on all of our neighboring countries, it's like, wow, it's so much bigger than it actually is, and I'm still learning, man. I am still learning. So yeah, it's been a wild ride.
The game never stops, and you can always learn something new and figure things out. Now, I am curious because we say that you got in right in the COVID times. Coming from a martial arts background, were there any difficulties that you may have stumbled across when you're training to be a professional wrestler? I mean, I would imagine maybe competitiveness, right? Because I say this after talking to a guy named Paulo Cruz out of Portugal. He legit fucking mixed martial artist, professional fighter, got into professional wrestling. Were there any drawbacks or anything that you may have struggled with coming from mixed
Um,
martial arts to professional wrestling?
Actually, it's the opposite because I did Taekwondo,
Okay.
right? So I was 12 years into Taekwondo. I was a first degree black belt, and I was up to a college level, and then I stopped, and then I got my flying license. So for those of you who don't know, my shoot job. I'm an airline pilot as well. So um, the martial arts aspect of it was that um, I, growing up, I was never a fan of hurting people.
Okay.
I'm one of the I don't like physically putting pain. Obviously, if I like learning, I learn techniques and how to defend myself and how to do things in case I'm ever like in danger. Or I like learning all those things, but I'm never like one of those guys who enjoys, hurting people intentionally. So I was never in the fighting aspect of martial arts, but I was rather in the performance part of martial arts. You know how martial arts have self-defense demonstrations and all these performances and all these like uh, it's basically kayfabe martial arts.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not real punching. It's just to show what a punch would look like from a martial arts aspect.
Mm-hmm.
So I was more onto that, and I fell in love with it because deep down inside, I knew that I was a showman. I love performing, and I love making people go, "Wow, that looked amazing." So when I joined pro wrestling, I had the background to help me on the sort of like the physical aspect, like hand-eye coordination, my footwork, getting through the rolls. Like most people may have had two left feet, but I was sort of able to pick it up really, really quick because of my background. And with pro wrestling, also, some people are stiff and not really used to getting to know that wrestling is a work. It's not trying to hurt you. It's a work. And because of my specialty, which is performing, I can basically make it like look like I'm hurting you, but I'm actually not putting any pressure, if any at all. So that's why it's sort of like easier for me myself to transition from martial arts to pro wrestling because of that performance side of me.
That makes
So I'm
sense.
able to keep to keep the people safe, and it looks like, oh wow, you look like you've done that for ages. Yeah, because of what I did before.
Right.
So yeah.
No, I didn't look at it from that perspective and that piece of it. So no, it would be a smoother transition for you for sure. When you came in and you obviously, well 2000, no, excuse me, 2000, 2020, 2019, 2020-ish. I just told my age, brother. I just told my age. Um, uh, some things that maybe when you got into it and you start seeing this growth happening and you start seeing things moving, when did you think that Malaysia Pro started to really find that groove? Because everybody in COVID had hit that hard reset. There's just no getting around it. Independent companies specifically. So as you're moving and shaking, at what point in time do you start feeling yourself like, all right, MYPW is we're doing something here. It's starting to come back because it's had to have been a fight for sure.
Oh yeah. I guess it started like setting in when that was the first show that we announced and we did after COVID. So before that, myself and the rest of the boys, we were training and nonstop, but it felt as though there was no visible goal. You know what I mean? Like we're training and training and training, doing all these bumps and learning everything about ourselves. But for a while, it felt like, where's this leading to? Are we going to eventually come back? And then Eman just said, yeah, we are. We have a show coming up. It's called New Breed 1. It's basically a jump start to the MYPW universe, so to speak. and some of you boys are going to get booked. And that's when it's like it started setting in for myself and for Jack and for Thommy and all those guys. Like, wow, we're actually going to debut, boys. It's like this is real shit. We can't. There's no more fucking around now. We gotta put in the work now.
You're now at that corner of fuck around and find out. So now it's about time for everybody to find out and to know that this thing happens here. And you guys have been working for this, and this is why you worked for it while COVID was a thing. Was so when this moment happens, you're more prepared. You know, like, so it's a blessing and a curse, really. You know, the curse aspect of a nationwide pandemic or a worldwide pandemic, but the blessing is that you guys did get an opportunity to put in extra work so that when this thing comes around, you're ready and you're ready to rock and roll. So tell me about what it felt like when you are coming through that curtain at New Breed One. You're getting your debut. You're you know, what's it look like for you?
Oh, that was nerve wracking. It was everything felt like it went so fast, but the leading up to it, it felt like it was so slow and so fast at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And everything felt like it was gonna at the time, like before coming out of that curtain, you have like every single fear pop up in your head. Okay, what if I botch this move? What if this doesn't happen? Or what if my shoe falls off? You know, all those, when you fall into a state of panic and you start to overthink about what's going to happen, even though it's not going to happen. The nervousness, and then I have a coach, the MYPW's head coach, Carlo Cannon. He's been very gracious, and he's been able to sort of guide me.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's been telling not just myself, but the rest of the boys, and he's just good at giving pep talks, saying that if you're praying for this, if you put the work on it, if you work hard on it, and you believe in yourself and what you do, everything will be just fine. So stop overreacting and just do what you got to do. So that's me basically behind the scenes, just putting on my shades for the first time, waiting for my music to hit, and praying to God that I don't slip on the ramp. So
you know what I did?
And then
I tripped over the steps.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah. And and the ropes getting into the ring. Yeah.
Was that your debut?
Yeah. And it wasn't intentional.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I trolled the city after that for 3 years. I did it every time I walked through the curtain in that same venue, in that same building. I didn't know what else to do.
That's brilliant. That's smart.
I didn't know. I just fuck it. I don't know. I'm just gonna do it again, and I did.
Not on the show.
What else can you do, right? Like this was my, it's a debut moment, and that's like literally the worst case scenario for anybody is to fuck up going to the ring. Like you can fuck up in the ring, no problem. Like it is what it is. It ain't ballet. Shit happens. You can recover. There's no recovering from tripping over steps and ropes, brother. None. There's just none.
I get it, and I mean, touch wood. I've not been able to. I've never experienced something like that yet, but my coach always tells me that if you're nervous, that means you care, and the fact that you care means it's good, because you care. You want to do what's best, not just for yourself, but for the people who paid money to see you. So yeah, I'm always one of those guys that over prepared. Sure. I want to make sure everything's spotless and clean, and all those guys.
So how did the first match go?
It was weird because when we were selected, I had thought that, because me being one of the older guys, because the rest of the guys who started in that during that COVID period of time training, they were all like in their 20s. I'm in my 30s. Mm-hmm. I'm like 33 now. Mm-hmm. I'm in my 30s when I debuted. So I thought, being one of the older guys, I wasn't gonna like match up to the standards that all these these 20-year-olds can bring. But when I when they announced the first new breed match, they were like, okay, we're gonna throw Kaizul in with one of the big names from Singapore, the current Singapore champion, in a tag match where Kaizul will be tagging with one of the best Singapore heels versus the best Singapore, one of the best Singapore guys, the current champion at the time, and one of our boys. Okay,
No
that's
pressure.
it. That soon? Like, I thought it was just gonna be like, I don't know, man. Like, wow. Okay, so you can tell from that moment, um, I knew there was pressure going in, but I tried my best to conduct myself professionally. I didn't want to seem like, if you carry yourself like a rookie, then you're just gonna be treated like a rookie. So I wanted to be like, I wanted to listen and learn because they've been in the business for so much longer than I have. So shout out to Big Dave and Showtime. You guys, were very welcoming. Those guys opened their arms and just welcomed me, and they didn't like big time me at all. They were like, "Hey, is there anything you want to know? Is there anything you want to do? Like anything that any part of the match that made you uncomfortable, please voice out." So yeah, it was a very pleasant process into that debut match. There was no egos, and yeah, I mean, I could have done better. Looking back and looking at myself now, man, I could have been, done certain things the right way, maybe work the crowd a little bit more, but that's how we learn, right? We start
Mm-hmm.
from somewhere, and that's how we grow. Yeah, so I'm very thankful for MyPW for sort of like putting that pressure for me since day one. At that point, I just gotten used to that pressure, and I just carry it with me every show I go to now, and just I remember where I came from.
Oh, it's a fantastic base, right, to start with, and then to see kind of where you've built yourself to. I mean, New Breed 3, not too long ago, the Journey to the Gold tournament's happening, and lo and behold, you're pulling the dub. 2 matches, one night. Both matches, were both different, in
Yep.
different ways, and were fantastic. I mean, the finals with you and Thommy, I think, was probably my opinion was probably the match of the show. Followed closely by that 4-way. But I thought you guys crushed it. I thought you killed it. And this is, for the journey to the gold. So for our viewers out there who may be watching, why don't you tell us a little bit about what that journey to the gold is and why it is so important with MyPW?
Yeah. Let me just bring up the image.
Oh yeah, man. No,
Okay.
break it out. Show it
This.
off.
Oh, this is my baby. This is it. This is my baby. I don't have a name for her yet, but this is my baby right here. So anyway, the journey to gold tournament started before New Breed 3. It was actually the second ever journey to gold tournament. The first one was held, I think, right after New Breed 2 was the second one. I don't think it was ever on YouTube because it was one of those house show things.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, back then, the Journey to Gold tournament was done, and the winner would become champion instantly. So the belt was the prize for the first one, the inaugural tournament.
Okay.
And then they changed it. And so they decided to change it. So now the second Journey to Gold tournament, came with a contract, and they decided to take a little bit of spin on it. So now the winner of the Journey to Gold tournament gets a contract that guarantees you a shot anytime, any place for the MYPW Southeast Asia Championship. So for those viewers who don't know, MYPW has 2 major championships. MYPW World Championship, which is currently held by Carlo Cannon, and the MYPW Southeast Asia Championship, which is currently held by Shivam in Thailand. So that briefcase, the Journey to Gold contract, is for the Southeast Asia Championship. Sort of like a money in the bank, if you will.
Yeah.
Or
Well, kind of interesting about this. Like, first of all, congratulations on being able to call your shot, because that is a very, very big tool in the toolbox that you can use at any point in time. But I'm not going to play ignorant here. Shivam is a hell of a talent, rocking the real global threat. So not only, in my opinion, are you going to have to worry about, plotting and planning a good cash in, because this is about opportunity. We're not here to be fair. This is you possibly taking the championship.
Yeah.
But you're also going to have to combat the real global threat, which they seem to be garnering strength in numbers as this roster tends to grow. So, from your perspective, give me your thoughts on what you think about the real global threat and the presence that they have right now, and how can you combat it if you can at all? Like, no, don't give me your game plan by any means, because they're probably fucking watching, but just pieces of it. What are you thinking? How are you going to navigate this? This is a big deal.
So, yeah, you know, it's kind of like I'm always one step ahead. Always be the smartest person in the room.
Or I can feel that. I just concerned that even if you try and pick and choose a spot, that they've got a numbers advantage here. And first of all, I am sorely disappointed in Amon for his actions.
We all.
Just hashtag disappointed, and that'll go in the clip on that one. But it's just it's a different situation. And while you not necessarily the most endearing person to the crowd by any means, what I gather is you're here to do a job whether they like it or not. Does the dynamic change a little bit? Like, I'm not saying that you would go out and look for people to partner up with, but if this thing brews, there's only so much a hitman can do unless you pick and choose your spots very carefully. Is that it? I guess what I'm trying to ask is, do you think there's going to be a chance, or there's the spot that you and this real global threat are going to cross paths? And if so, what does that look like for you? Because it's going to explode.
There definitely is. As long as Shivam holds the MYPW Southeast Asia title, that is, as long as he has that belt, I will keep an eye on him. I'm keeping tabs. I know he has an army of Southeast Asia's best. The best in Singapore, the best in Thailand, the best in Philippines, and all that. I know. But, they're only human, and humans make mistakes. And despite them having big names and all that, I've always believed that, having too many egos is bad for you. It's one of these days somebody's going to be like, oh, why are you the leader? Why am I not the leader? Oh, why is this? So that's why I prefer to work alone. So the only ego I have to worry about is myself. But it doesn't really hurt to have backup. Maybe I'll get backup. Maybe I'll have someone to watch my back, someone who shares my ideals, someone who shares my thoughts and my views for the company. Maybe I will. For now, I don't really have that guy yet. Maybe I'll find somebody, but up until then, it's just me by myself. And I don't know, a part of me wants it to be that way, because at least now, if I do cash that belt in at whatever time, whatever space, against whoever that holds that belt, I'll be able to tell everybody that I did it my way and I did it myself. So yeah, numbers game is a thing, but numbers aren't everything.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
100%. The numbers are in their advantage. The power card here is to be able to call that shot whenever. And you did touch on it a few minutes ago. Is you just need to, for the right situation to play out in the right set of circumstances.
Yep.
For you to walk down that aisle and cash that case in. I want to talk a few minutes about the match with Thommy that got you, that you pulled the win on, that got this case. And Guys, if you're watching, whether it's you're here on Twitch or you're watching over on YouTube, I encourage you. You probably need to go out to Malaysia Pro Wrestling and check out New Breed 3 and watch this match specifically. I was watching it with Todrick and JB, guys that are co-hosts on my channels, and they were completely enamored, and I was too. I you don't ever know what to expect, and I think that was the second full show from Malaysia Pro that I've watched. But then you never know, and that's the beautiful thing, because professional wrestling, like the Forrest Gump used to say, life is like a box of chocolates. You don't ever know what you're going to get. Same thing can be said for independent wrestling. Man, what a battle that turned into, and what just a fantastic 15-ish minutes that unfolded between you two. Coming into that match, chemistry is obviously a thing, and you either have it or you don't. And the chemistry between you two were spot on, like chef's kiss. Talk to me a little bit about going into that, and with someone that you did come in, training with. I mean, that's another little, to me, is another little cool facet to the overall story of you guys work together, you train together, and now you're being put in a big stage like this where there's a lot at stake, and a lot of faith is put into you. And it kind of goes back to your debut. They debut you opposite the champion in a tag match, so there's already faith there. Now you have this opportunity to capture it, and man, y'all crushed it, and y'all knocked that shit out of the park.
Thank you very much. Yeah, like you said, and how I mentioned earlier, me and Thommy started about the same time. We had, I think me and Thommy will probably have the most similar uprisings in our career in MYPW. Like, I spent the most time in training with Jack. He's one of my best buddies in the world, and like Tommy's a close second. But the guy is he's relentless. He's this young, rash, young kid that just wants to improve. And how we're similar is that we were thrown into the wolves around the same time when we debuted. Mm-hmm. So I got thrown in with the Singapore champ. He got thrown in with the Singapore champ at one point, and then we both started on this this losing streak of sorts. Like we were like those guys that people would go, oh, there's a big guy coming in. Let's throw Thommy in there and make the guy look good. And Thommy gets beat up. Oh, there's another guy that's coming in. Let's put Kaizul in there and get Kaizul beat up and make the guy look good. So for the longest time, I think for a good year or so, that was me and Thommy. So obviously Tommy's a babyface and I'm heel. So anybody that comes in, so we do our part. And Thommy got his big moment, I think, at New Week 2 when he beat Eman. I don't know if you know that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was his first win in his career. So we were all happy for him, and at that point, I think I was also starting to build some steam as a heel, and that's why I said like our careers sort of parallel in some point. And leading up to the tournament, obviously, when they announced the tournament, we didn't know if we were going to work in the finals. But a part of us sort of like, it would be cool if it was me and Thommy, right? Mm-hmm. Like, we had that conversation. Like, it'd be cool if it were you and me, because we sort of had that kind of like similar paths now. It'd be cool. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it'd be cool. And then started the tournament, and here we are. So we ended up in the finals, and we put our heart and soul into that. We wanted to make sure that people get their money's worth, and at the same time, we wanted to do justice for the people that helped get us to where we are, right? Because we wouldn't be able to do this if the people who coached us didn't do a fantastic job in teaching us the basics and having us understand the business and all that. But we just kind of like went to that match thinking, okay, we're gonna be doing 2 matches, right? Thommy, you and me, just so we gotta like We got to think about the gas tank. We can't put everything on the first match. We got to save up for the second one. So we sort of like link up. Okay, so what do you want to do? So let's just keep it towards the end and create that sort of story of this kid who's just trying to fight and never say die, and this like brooding hitman who's just doing unspeakable things to win. So we wanted to tell that story and just, take out all the high flying and all the flips and all that. And I told him, let's just have a fist fight. Let's just hit each other and just show these people grit and kind of like intensity, and let everybody else do all the big moves and all that. Let's just fight. Let's just show them a fight. And I'll be honest, that was the first time we've actually tried to do that sort of style, like a Gunther style match, if you will. A very chop heavy, like punch hit, a slobber knocker style of match.
Very physical, for sure.
Physical. A lot of people are used to the whole, yay, time he'd come back, yeah, let's go. So this match was it was very physical. It was, every hit was felt. So we wanted to show the people the realism in pro wrestling. That was the story we wanted to tell, and we weren't sure if the people would accept it because, as you know, Malaysia doesn't have, pro wrestling until recently in MYPW, but they knew about WWE, so they're accustomed to certain things, right? They're accustomed to certain big moves and larger-than-life characters, so we wanted to bring something different, something very Japanese style, very strong style, and I think we did a good job. The people were in it, and I'm so happy that yourself and your crew were able to enjoy it as well. And yeah, we went back there. Me and Thommy just, we just happy, just pat ourselves in the back, but there's always room to improve. Right, there's always room to improve, despite the match being what it is.
There's room to improve everywhere, but this thing was really well laid out and it was really well executed. And I think from my perspective, and just, take this from a guy who watches indies everywhere, all over the world, and has a footing in every continent. If it draws me in and it draws my channel in, then you're probably doing something fucking right. And, something that I do want to touch on is, while yes, you guys did wrestle twice that night. I think each of you probably had an 8 to 10 minute match first go around. That second one was probably 15 to 20. So you're working 30 plus minutes roundabout, and you only had a 2-match break. There was only a 2-match buffer before you guys would turn around and going right back out there. And for those who haven't worked 30 minutes, okay, let me just put you this way: it sucks, but it's a lot of fun, right? Like 30 straight's way easier than going in, getting warmed up, getting going, having to break for 45 to an hour, and then turn right back around and do it all over again. Muscles do tense up. Muscles do their thing. Like your body does your thing. So it doesn't need to be glossed over that you guys did both double work there, and what that really looks like, because it can take a toll, and it's injury too. You warm up just to rest and then have to go back out there. You could be prone to do something different, and your body doesn't agree with you. So to get out there and make that happen, I thought it was great. It invested us. There was a lot with that New Breed 3 show that I just completely lost my shit on. The tag match, I never saw.
Break,
yes, I've never seen that team before a day in my life, and I could not believe it. I think I clipped that and threw it out there. It was hilarious, and I get it, and I understand what they were doing, and this is great. There was a lot of things happening. That New Breed 3 show, it did kind of, it's a blasting cap, I think, for MYPW as to where you guys are headed next, which is very, very good piece of conversation to go to. What is on deck next for MYPW?
Honestly, I'm not too sure because we recently had announced we were supposed to do a show in September, but the show had been canceled
Yep, I saw.
for some for reasons that I can't say. But um, I believe we have a show upcoming after that one to sort of like our little redemption story to give the people a little something before the end of the year. So people watching, don't worry, there's still MyPW shows to come. I'm not able to. It's not in my power. It's not in my responsibility to say when is the next show or what is the next show going to be called or who's going to be the next show. I don't know.
I've
But
I've
all
I've
I know
heard
is that
I've heard a little birdie say that there's definitely another show coming this year for MYPW
yes,
because I'm already locked in to be a sponsor for it. We're just waiting for that time to get here. So there is stuff coming for sure. And
yeah,
with you and having this briefcase and being able to kind of pick and choose makes you a very dangerous man. If you weren't a dangerous man before, which let's be
yep,
fair, you are. You are definitely a dangerous man now. So, if you had some words for Shivam, what would they be right about now, knowing that, you've got your precious right there in your arms? What if you could say anything to him, what would it
Hold on, let me just do this. Okay.
be? Yes.
All right. Shivam. Okay, Shivam, you're doing a hell of a job as my PW champion. You're doing so great, collecting all the Pokemons in Southeast Asia, trying to build a little boy band. Ah, look at you, trying to cover up that little insecurity you have by covering yourself up with so many big names. I get it. I get it. You're trying to be somebody. You're trying to establish something, but the thing is, it doesn't really matter now, does it? Right? I mean, we haven't officially met inside a MyPW ring per se, but I guarantee you, as long as you have that belt and I have this briefcase, we will eventually. And when we do, you could have all the guys you want around you, but I will find the exact perfect timing that nobody, not the crowd, not the MyPW management, not you, not even the real global threat will see that little sliver, the little spot in time that nobody will see. And that is exactly where I'll be with a referee in my left hand and this briefcase in my other hand. When that happens, the MyPW social media team will finally get to announce and new MYPW Southeast Asia Champion.
What's that going to mean for you? I mean, to be able to hold that title, to be able to get it in your hands. And, I'm not saying it's a foregone conclusion by any means. I don't fucking know. What I do know is that being able to call that shot, it is quite the tool to have. So if you get that, and that's a big, beautiful belt too. Let me just say that that'd look good on the mantle. Well, it'd look good on the mantle.
Yeah, yeah, that looked good on my shoulder. I wouldn't. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Shivam doesn't know who I am. He may know who I am, but he hates me now. It's okay. That doesn't faze me. With the ride that you guys are on, it is really kind of cool to sit back and watch, especially here from the States, because there's, I said several times, there's so much great independent wrestling out there all over the world. You just have to go out there and look for it. If you find it, you can definitely expose yourself to new talents, new people, new places, and new journeys the whole way around. And our platform is just that, and in every aspect. We do a bunch of stuff that nobody will ever see, and we're okay with that.
And that championship is just sorry. That I just wanted to say just now that being champion is something that is on my bucket list. Like even having an opportunity like this to challenge for a championship was already means the world to me. But the fact that I may be able to call myself champion, this kid growing up, I didn't think it was possible, but now it could may very well be. Um, I take it as a badge of honor. Like I if you said that my match with Thommy was good, and I thank you for that. But
I said
I
fantastic.
feel that
It's fantastic.
thank you very much. I thank you for that. But if I could be champion, when I become champion, it's just gonna get a whole lot more better. I promise you that. That one I can guarantee you. This is not like the peak that you've seen of Kaizul yet. Trust me. Champion, as a champion, I'm gonna take it to a whole new level. So Southeast Asia, you better watch out.
See, here's the thing, like, not to do Steiner math by any means, but, you walk into a match, you got a 50-50 shot at winning. That's just a fact in a singles match. You've got a briefcase in your hand that says I can do this anytime I want to. That 50-50 goes to about a 95, especially if circumstances surround it. I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm looking forward to seeing how that piece of your story shakes out, because it could change the dynamic of MYPW in one fell swoop. The entire complexion.
So long, yeah.
Well, it's not saying that it's a bad thing or not, but Owen Hart once said, "Enough is enough. It's time for a change." So, you're the man that can dictate that pace, and we're gonna see how it shakes and how it goes. I do have a couple more questions for you, and we'll start winding things down here in a few minutes. Because fun fact, guys, I got to be at work in like 35 minutes, 40 minutes. They gave me a little bit of time this morning. I'm very interested thus far. Your career, you're still relatively not new, young into your career. You're 4 or 5 years deep at this point, with counting COVID and all that fun stuff. Outside of pulling this briefcase, what are some standout moments for you? What stuff that you look back on and you say, yep, all right, I did this and I'm proud of it. It could be matches, it could be anything at all, whether it's professional wrestling related, it could be life related in general. Like, what are some of your crowning moments?
I have a few. The first one is definitely being able to do this at my age. A lot of people are afraid to start their journey at 30 like I did. A lot of people are 20s, and then even in their 20s, if their kids are still not able to perform to the standards that MyPW has set, and me coming in as a little bit of an older guy, being able to do that, and having the job that I have a very tight schedule. I'm flying around the world in my day job, and I have a wife at home. I've got a family to feed, and I'm doing that and all this, and being able to juggle that with pro wrestling it's been the most difficult thing in the world, but it's also the most gratifying knowing that I'm able to do all of them, and I'm able to do all of them well. So that's the first one. The second one would be, I think I mentioned Jack Alexander. He's the guy. He's one of my best friends in wrestling. We basically, me and him would stay back after training, back during COVID. Like, how COVID, we couldn't leave the house for a period of time, and then after that, it started like, oh, now we can leave the house now, but we got to wear masks, and now we got to get those vaccine shots. Now eventually we started doing that. At the moment the physical training started back, we would always, me and Jack were the only two that would always stay back after class another extra hour or two just to get our shit in and make sure that we get it right. And to be able to work with him in a match, I think it was MyPW Fight Back, Kaizul versus Jack Alexander, and that was magic. Me and him, we tore the house down. That was actually the first round of the Journey to Gold tournament. If you haven't seen it, please.
I have not, but I will.
MyPW Fight Back, Jack Alexander versus myself. It was one of the best matches I've ever had in my life, because wrestling, there's nothing like wrestling your friend. right?
Mm-hmm.
And telling a story. And yeah, it was just one of those. And the last one would be working across Southeast Asia. I've had the privilege and the honor of being a part of locker rooms in Singapore, Thailand, like I didn't think it was possible. I thought it was just going to be Malaysia, but I got to work in those parts of the country and got to see how their locker room is, got to see how their crowds work, how the people there wrestle, how they think, how they run the business there. So it expands my mind not just as a worker, but sort of like overall how the business runs in Southeast Asia, not just in like this bubble in Malaysia and how just our people run things, but get to see all these cultures working together and trying to run their version of the show, and we're trying to run our version, and you pick up a thing or two. You know what I mean? Like you learn what you can, you absorb what you can, and yeah, that's been a big factor in kind of like the development of who I am as a performer for MYPW, and I'm forever grateful and thankful for that. Yeah.
Well, do you want to touch on this? You said it a couple times, and I like that you're where your head's at with it. But I want to point out, I'm going to play devil's advocate when you say that you're in your mid 30s and your early 30s rather. You're getting into the game. I've talked to a lot of different people from all corners of the globe, and when I have this piece of a conversation, I like to remind people that professional wrestling is not what it once was. While yes, we do, wear and tear on your body is real. Where getting into the ring is very real, and the bumps are very real. The
It
way
is.
that when I say it's not the way it once was is, guys take better care of themselves now. And I was chatting with
Yep.
with a guy named Mo Malik this a couple months ago, and he was like, "Man, I can't believe I'm 33 or 34, and I'm just doing this." I was like, "Brother, let me tell you this: Diamond Dallas Page didn't step into the ring until his mid 30s, and he was only
Yeah.
involved in the game for maybe 10 years, but left a
Yeah.
legacy and left a, he started in 92, 93. Of course, did some managing prior to that, but like really wrestling 92, 93. He didn't hit it until 96, 97. And he was done by '02 for the most part with his major run. And he still was able to leave the legacy that he left within WCW. And I always will go to that when I hear when I hear people talk about, man, because age is real, don't get me wrong, but we do take better care of ourselves now than what we did back then. So I do think that, what used to be the prime of someone's career was their, 30 to 34. Well, I don't think that prime really starts now to 38, 39.
Yeah.
So there's lots of time. And with what MYPW has done with you, like you and Thommy for sure, like I see them laying the foundation for you guys to be the next set of guys that are going to be carrying the company. Like that's just,
Oh yeah.
you know what I mean? Like I see that mentality coming from them just from what I see on how they present their television and how they present you and how they present Thommy and a couple others. You can tell the groundwork is being laid that this is going to be
Mhm.
where we're going and who we're investing in. So it's going to be a beautiful thing to see, and especially with, constantly, getting better. Constantly, the show's getting better. The talent's getting better. Your crowds, I say all the time, I can have an opinion about fucking anything, but, unless I bought a ticket, then my opinion doesn't really mean a whole lot. When you hear that crowd, and that crowd's reacting, and that crowd's invested, it doesn't matter what anybody has to say. That's the win. They're your ultimate judge. And right now, it really looks like you guys are about to strap on and blow the, not to speak mad, blow the fuck up is where I think you're headed.
Yeah.
So do want to say that, and then
Mhm.
I'll lead into this. Like, we always ask people, or there's 3 questions that I definitely always ask people because I just find them interesting in my own way. And one of them is like, we've talked a lot about wrestling. We've talked, a lot about Malaysia Pro, how you've gotten started. When you get an opportunity to just relax, to the camera goes off, the lights off. It's, It's just you. How do you like to relax? What are some fun things that you like to do? We talked to a lot of different people, and comics seem to be a thing here in the States. A lot of the cats are into comic books and all that jazz. But with your schedule of travel, with flying, with wrestling, the home life, all that stuff, how do you find time to relax? Or do you? Fuck, it doesn't sound like you might be able to.
I'm a huge nerd. Yeah, I
Same.
enjoy the little things. I enjoy watching Netflix. I enjoy playing video games. Growing up, I'm a huge video game guy. I have every single video game console. I have the PS1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 currently now in my living room. Um, I'm a huge game nerd. That's how I came up with the whole Kaizul characters because I'm a huge Metal Gear Solid guy.
Mhm.
I love the whole Hitman espionage-esque vibes. So that's where, I came up with that. Nowhere near what people think I ripped off Bret Hart. That is not true.
No, I ripped off Metal Gear Solid, guys. Get it fucking right.
No, I'm a huge Hitman and Assassin's Creed and all that. I'm
Yeah.
huge to all that. And so, yeah, I did not rip off Bret the Hitman Hart, even though he is, the best. Obviously, he is. I'll never,
Well,
it's very difficult to
I'm a Brett guy.
stand it, right? But yeah, I'm trying my best. Yeah, I enjoy playing games. I enjoy playing card games with my buddies. Yeah, just the simple things. If I have time to meet up with friends, just a simple meetup, talk, catch up. It's always fun,
Dude,
talk about wrestling.
if someone ever came up to you and says, are you ripping off Bret Hart? I'd be like, do you see any fucking pink in here anywhere, bro? No, you don't.
No, you know what's funny? When I went to Grapple Max, this is the story. One fan never seen me before wrestle, but he's seen me on social media and all that, and they announced on the Singapore social media with Grapple Max. Shout out to Grapple Max. Oh, Kaizul is coming to Singapore. They thought that I was ripping off Bret Hart because they announced the name, the International Hitman. Okay, fine, fair play. But after seeing me wrestle, there's some people that came to me and say like, bro, I thought you were ripping and I saw you wrestle. You wrestle like an actual hitman. Like, you look like an actual assassin that took off his jacket and came to, take someone off the list. Yeah, that's the point. I'm not wearing pink. I'm wearing black. Like, why would a mysterious hitman coming from the shadows wear pink? That's not my, credit to Bret Hart. He made it work, but that's not me. But yeah, then he saw it. Like, okay, now I kind of see where you're going on this. Okay, so that's where people kind of like, okay, you wrestle like a hitman, so that's why you call yourself a hitman.
Do you want me to tell you the first thing that came through my mind when I ever saw you come out the curtain? I think it was on Down the Rabbit Hole on Malaysia Pro. I don't even know if we were live. I think we were. I think it was a live show. You came out in your attire, and the first thing I said is I just felt like I just walked out of the Matrix. I don't know if I should take the red pill or the blue pill. It was just something like this is all black. You've got the glasses on. Like, I'm just like, where's fucking Keanu Reeves at when I need him? Like, the hair, jet back. I mean, it looked fantastic. I think the presentation is solid, and I think everything that you're doing with it is great. I got a couple more questions for you, and these are what I consider my to me they're really stuff that I do dig into and I do love to hear. And the first question I'm going to ask you is I'm going to give you the reason why I'm asking it after you give me your answer. Doesn't sound fair, but it will be. Our platform is independent wrestling. Literally, it's all we do. On top of my real job, it's 40 hours a week, 45 hours a week. This is another 40 to 45 hours a week. It's a legitimate situation. When I ask people, who should we be watching? And what I do mean by that is like people that you have either gotten in the ring with, whether it's in Malaysia, whether it's, Thailand, wherever you've traveled to, guys that have impressed you. And then maybe they're not in your own backyard. Maybe there's some international people that you've watched that resonate with you. Give me some people that, according to Kaizul, that we should be watching.
Okay. Got a few. I've got a few. One of them, I think it's only fair that I put people who I've worked with
Okay.
over. I feel because I don't really, because I've worked with them. One of them is definitely Matty Romano. Matty, shout out to you for watching. Matty Romano, if you've never seen him, I wrestled him before in one of the MYPW shows, and he's so talented. He's so amazingly talented. He's currently killing it in Australia in the indie scene. I think he's a regular on Renegades of Wrestling. What an amazing talent. Oh my God. I wrestled him. I think it was his first show in Malaysia. Eman brought him in and he was like, oh, we're bringing Maddie in, and who are you going to work with? You're going to work with Kaizul. And I met him, and such a sweetheart of a man. We worked together. We had a blast. Definitely check him out over in Australia in indie scene. In Malaysia, basically just I would say all of our guys that's coming up, guys like Thommy. I don't think, even though Thommy lost in the finals, I don't think this is the last you've seen of Thommy. I believe Tommy's going to be doing big things in the future. I'd be remiss if I don't mention Jack, Soldier Boy, Love and Freedom, the tag team that you love it, the ones that did the dance break. Oh my God.
They're fantastic.
Funny thing, Malaysia wasn't really a place for tag wrestling. Yeah. We've never even had, Malaysia didn't even have a tag team championship. We don't have tag team championships in Malaysia, never have. In its existence to this day, we do not have tag team championships because we don't have good tag teams before. But now we've got guys like Love and Freedom. We've got the Juicy Boys. We've got all these guys coming in, and you start to wonder, maybe it's time. Maybe it's time we put some gold on our tag team division. So definitely check out our tag division. The Malaysian tag division is booming. Our brothers and sisters over in Singapore, Thailand, the rest in Southeast Asia. Just check them out in general. So welcoming. Southeast Asia is very welcoming. Like all emotions. If you're just trying to get into it, definitely just have a look, see at all of these promotions in Southeast Asia. They're doing fantastic work, and I'm happy, but at the same time it fires me up because I'm very competitive. So knowing that our neighboring countries are killing it just makes me want to work harder and produce even better shows, better matches for Malaysia, and represent my country, trying to build up Southeast Asia as a region together. So have a look-see on our region, because there's so much more to watch.
What's funny, you mentioned tag titles because very similar to some of my friends in Portugal, WrestleFest. Again, little side story. I guess it was about a year and a half ago. We stumbled across, just a random Portugal WrestleFest show. Turned it on. We started watching it live, and within 30 minutes, we had 20 people. It was everybody on the fucking show that was in our chat. And it turned into, again, I had, one of the guys who owns it was there. And I was like, man, you need to come talk to me on Beyond the Bell. And he did. And it led to a relationship to this day. And I told him, specifically, that eventually WrestleFest will be running monthly. He was like, no, you're lying. Fast forward a year and a half to running monthly. I also told him in the same conversation, because they didn't have tag champions. I was like, you'll have tag champions in the next 6 to 8 months. For some reason, the scene started booming with tag teams. they finally got their first set of tag titles and their first set of national tag team champions. So I do think that it is in the cards for sure, and should probably can happen. And overall growth is what it is. It's just growth of the market and growth of the scene, which is that's the name of the game. And if you do it, you're winning. And I'd love to see it, to be perfectly honest, because I do think that there are some teams there that need to be seen. My next question that I've got to you, and this one's probably the $1 million question is, but kind of how I'd throw it out there. If you had the opportunity, who are some people out there, whether in your scene or whether it's in your, internationally, who are some people that you want to get in the ring with? Some names out there that you wouldn't mind, showing off the hitman to?
Oh man, if you dream big, you definitely want to go with one of the guys in like the States. All the Daniel Bryans, all the Zack Sabre Juniors, and all the big names in the States. But I had a list when I first, like, it's not a list, it's more like it was a fantasy book. When I first joined MYPW, I'm a guy that does my homework well. So I had researched a lot of Southeast Asia wrestling when I first joined, and I found out, oh, this is the so and so are the top guys in Grapple Max and Singapore, and so is the top guy over in Thailand, so and such. So I had sort of like drafted the names that I wanted to work with if I ever make it to that point. And so far, I've managed to cross out one name on that list, and that was the Butcher Man. I don't know if you know the Butcher Man. He's the current SPW champion over in SPW, Singapore Pro Wrestling. What a talented guy. Oh my God. Such a sweetheart of a man. And, but going back to that list, I would definitely like to work with, I would say, all the pioneers in Southeast Asia. I'm a big Southeast Asia guy.
That's perfectly
fine. As much as I
Yeah.
love WWE and AEW and all that, but I like the brand that we're building. So if I could fight all the Shivams, Shivam is the top guy over in Thailand. If I could get a solid one-on-one with him, I'd love to. If I could get the top guy over in Grapplenax, in SPW, top guys over in Vietnam, in the Philippines, and maybe China, Japan, South Korea. I don't know, but yeah, I would definitely like look at all of the top names and just go, wow. I just want to let's make some magic. Let's kill it. Let's do a match.
Well, based off of what I've already seen from you, that doesn't seem like it's going to be a difficult thing to do, because you've got a lot of really positive things happening for you. You do have the connectability with the crowd. You can draw people in. We're pretty positive of that. And you can tell a really good story between those ropes. And it's something to see, and I'm forever grateful that we've got to hang out together today for an hour or so and just kind of shoot the shit and really just get to know a little bit more about you and what you have going on, because it truly, we say professional wrestling can bring people together, and it can if you allow it to, and get past all the bullshit and nonsense that comes along with it and just see it for what it is. And that's kind of the basis of our platform and what we like to do. And I just can't thank you enough for agreeing to sit down with me. Again, we don't know each other. You've only seen me online. That's the beautiful thing about this whole process is, we are very organic and very just grassroots the whole way around. And I'm very grateful that I got a chance to speak with you today, for sure.
Yeah. And thank you for having me. Yeah. This is, like I said, this is my first interview as a pro wrestler. I'm honored. I wouldn't dream a million years I would be doing an interview as a pro wrestler. And this is a huge moment for me, and I'd like to thank you for sharing that moment with me. It's been a blast. I enjoyed myself very much.
Well, I hope we have more moments like this in the future.
Oh, yeah. Why not? Maybe after I win the belt.
Yeah. Hey, don't threaten me with a good time. We do. I do. We do a lot
maybe.
of shows, man. We do a lot of different things, a lot of fun stuff as well. Some wrestling Jeopardy every now and then. It's always a good time to sit down and just I'm telling you, like tonight, my 7 p.m. tonight, your 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. We'll be back because I've got a wrestling Jeopardy show. It's gonna be fantastic. It's always fun. I do want to turn things over to you. And is there anything that you would like to plug? Is there anything that you want to throw out there to our audience? Anything at all, man? The floor is totally yours.
Thank you very much. For more information, if you're interested in MYPW, that's Malaysia Pro Wrestling, you can follow our Instagram account at MyP Wrestling, I believe it's called, or you just type in Malaysia Pro Wrestling and give them a follow. If you want to follow me, it's at Kaizul. It's simple, Kaizul, Kizul. On Instagram, you can catch our latest announcements on future shows, upcoming bookings, match cards. Everything will be available at the MyPW Instagram page. Hopefully, next show will be announced soon.
Mm-hmm.
And fingers crossed. Yeah, it's going to be sooner rather than later. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And yeah,
and both fingers crossed that they create an opportunity, and they being the Shivam creates an opportunity for Kaizul to go cash that briefcase in and get that strap. I forgot about that.
Hopefully he doesn't miss. Hopefully Shivam doesn't miss his flight and he makes it to Malaysia, and he doesn't chicken out. And
there. I feel like there's a story there.
Shivam decides to tear up his flight ticket and just stay home, just out of fear of getting cashed in. But
I mean, you have that. You have you have the real global threat in that briefcase in your hand. That's what that is.
Well put. Yeah, that's basically what it is. Yeah, but we won't know until we see the match card, and that will only be announced at the MyPW Instagram page. So please give that a follow wherever you are in the world. And yeah, go check out our matches. Full matches are available in the MyPW YouTube page. Mm-hmm. You can watch the latest one. I think it was New 3. Then the Full Throttle is not out yet, but it will be out soon on YouTube. But if you got nothing to do, we've got other shows. We've got Fight Back. We've got Champions Quest, leading all the way back to the very first New Breed. So, yeah, if you want to give us a follow and just wanted to watch some good old Southeast Asia wrestling in Malaysia, give that a watch.
Man, this has been fantastic, and I cannot wait to see what happens next with you. I cannot wait to have you back down the line when we have that big gold belt on your shoulder. It's going to be great to have. It's going to be great to see. As my man just said, guys, the easiest way that you can support independent wrestling is by sharing, and subscribing. And Kaziul's case, it's been on the screen the entire show. It's right there. It's right underneath him. It's Kaizul PW is the official way to catch him there. Just type in Kaizul on Instagram, hit that follow button. And the same with Malaysia Pro Wrestling. Anything Malaysia Pro Wrestling will be linked down below. If you're here on YouTube and you see he got the briefcase in his hands, it's not a matter if, it's a matter of when that cash in will take place. And the only way that you can find out is by following or sharing, and subscribing, not only with Kaziul, with our friends over at Malaysia Pro Wrestling. It's been a treat, man, and I cannot wait to see what happens next. For my guest today, the Journey's champion. Is it Journey champion? Journey of champions?
Journey to gold.
Journey to the gold. Why do I keep I got too many wrestling things in my head. Journey to the gold. Briefcase holder for my guest today, Mr. Kaziul. I am Chris Page, and we will see you next time.